Cherry and Riku always hated each other since they were kids. Their mothers, being childhood friends, wanted the same outcome, but was quickly mistaken. Riku made it his mission to never be friends with Cherry. They were constantly bickering and fighting about almost everything. The fighting toned down once they've entered their senior year, their counselor advising that the both of them stop the petty fighting. Riku's mood immediately turns sour as he encounters Cherry on his way to class, as does his Cherry's mood. Riku blurts out to Cherry, telling him to move out of his way and that he is blocking the door. Cherry gets offended that Riku thinks he's some teacher that can just boss him around. The two quickly get into each other's faces. Cherry angrily stating that just because his mom wants them to be friends that he won't get physical with him. Riku immediately spits back that he didn't ask to be in this class and that he'd rather K-word himself than in the same class as him. As Riku sits down in class, he thinks to himself how he's not a bad person and that Cherry just irritates him. The teacher announces that they are going to be discussing their final project that will be counting as their final grade before winter break. The project's name is Egg Parenting Project. The teacher goes and explains that 2 students will be picked at random to co-parent and take care of their egg. She lets the students know that if you break your egg and try to replace it, she will know, she said firmly, sending shivers down the kids' spines. As the teacher picked out the co-parents, Riku thought to himself how he doesn't have any friends in this class, feeling worried that he'd be partnered with someone who's lazy and make him do all the work. The teacher then calls Cherry and Riku, as they will be partnered together for the egg parenting project. Both thought to themselves with a feeling of disgust that they were chosen to be partners for the project. Riku was feeling gloomy that everyone around him was celebrating that they got to partner with their friends, and as for him, stuck with Cherry. Riku has been having weird dreams about Cherry lately, but he can never seem to remember what happens at the end. And this pisses Riku off that someone so annoying can appear in his dreams. Cherry is upset with Riku for forgetting to take the egg to school, having it be their first day. Riku brushes it off, saying he was in a rush and he doesn't care if he loses points since he has an A in the class. This upsets Cherry even more. The two go on and bicker some more as Cherry is frustrated that Riku isn't taking it as seriously as him. Cherry gets close in Riku's face to press him more about the situation. This makes Riku flustered, pushing Cherry's face from his. Riku stares intensely at Cherry. Cherry notices and asks Riku why is he staring so hard and tells him to hurry up and go ask the teacher. This pisses Riku off, giving him the birdie, as he didn't like the tone in his voice. Cherry jumped out of his seat, angered by Riku's disrespectful gesture, alerting the teacher in the process. Cherry stumbles over his words as he sat back down, embarrassed that he was the only one scolded and not Riku. Riku laughs to himself at Cherry's embarrassment while also in the process of asking the teacher about the project. Riku walks over to Cherry to let him know that the teacher said it was fine and to make up for it by doing double the work today. Cherry reluctantly said okay, still upset over the situation. Riku not paying him any attention as he see right through his cute facade. Riku wonders to himself whether it's going to rain or snow today since it's cold outside. He has plans on meeting up with Cherry today, but not really in the best mood for it. He thinks it's a hassle and they could just pretend to take pictures with the egg. Riku wonders how long he'll have to wait for Cherry as he sat patiently for him. Cherry then calls out to Riku as he's finally arrived. Upon arrival, Cherry apologizes for being late, but Riku was more concerned at the attire Cherry has chosen to wear in such cold weather. The two go on to bicker some more, as Riku is disturbed that Cherry would even walk outside in that. Cherry argues why does he care and not to concern him about what he is wearing, because he is not cold. Riku states it's not about him and that he's being a bad influence. Riku asks Cherry where are they going, and suggests they go somewhere inside. Cherry tells Riku not to worry and that he's already secured a spot for them. Riku feels uneasy and regrets asking Cherry to choose the place. Cherry chooses a 24-hour diner as their location. Riku expresses how he's never been to a place like this before and complains that it's loud and dirty. This upsets Cherry a bit, whereas this is his favorite spot to eat. He rambles on enthusiastically as he haven't been there in a while. Cherry asks Riku what will he be eating. Riku states he doesn't know since he's never been here before. Cherry expresses that the pancakes and hash browns are the best. This slightly catches Riku's attention. Riku still feels reluctant to be here with their egg and expresses that he doesn't trust Cherry. The two immediately began to banter, Riku stating how inconsiderate it is for him to bring their egg to a place that serves eggs. Cherry barks back that any place he would have chosen would have been boring. Their spat was cut short as their waitress has arrived at their table. She greets them warmly as her beauty blinds Cherry, making him unable to speak. Riku was immediately annoyed. Cherry, still stunned by her beauty and unable to speak properly, frightens the waitress, wondering if he's crazy. Cherry snaps out of it as he finally began placing their order. Riku was annoyed, finding this whole situation cringe. Cherry places his order. He orders pancakes with light syrup and extra whipped cream, hash browns with extra ketchup, and for his drink, a lemonade. He continues and asks for eggs on the side, but was quickly reminded by Riku that they have their baby egg with them. Cherry, panicking, scratches the side of egg from his order and apologizes profusely. Riku then goes on to order. He orders the same thing, but switches his drink into tea instead. The waitress then leaves and says she will be back with their drinks. Riku teases Cherry some more about almost ordering eggs. Cherry expresses he didn't know and to shut up. It was an awkward silence as they sat waiting for their food. Cherry tried breaking it by asking Riku how's his week been, but Riku immediately shut him down as he did not want to engage in small talk. This angered Cherry as he was fed up with his nasty attitude and just wanted Riku to suck it up and act normal for the next 2 weeks. He expressed they are being forced to do the project together, so it's pointless not to get along. Riku still gives off a disgusted look as he states that making small talk with Cherry sounds horrifying to him. Cherry tells him to stop being dramatic. Riku grunts and agrees reluctantly, answering his question, letting him know his week was fine. He then asks about Cherry's week. Cherry answered eagerly, as he rambled on and on about his week. Riku instantly regretting ever asking him anything. Riku reassured Cherry that he didn't need a detailed summary of his whole week. A simple, "it was fine," would have sufficed. Cherry awkwardly says okay, leaving the air dry again. Cherry quickly picks it back up as he asks Riku about his boyfriend. Riku grows cold as Cherry brings up a sensitive topic. Cherry seeing this reaction, he quickly let him know his mom was the one who told him and that he's just trying to make small talk. Since they were already on the topic, Riku let him know that him and his boyfriend broke up over a month ago. It immediately gets awkward again. The waitress arrives and lets them know their food will be a bit and that she has their drinks. Cherry thanked her flirtatiously. Riku looked at him confused and suspiciously. Seeing this, Riku then goes on to ask if him and Mina are still together. Cherry questioned Riku about knowing about him and Mina. This flustered Riku. Rather than telling him the truth, he lied and said his mom told him. He didn't want Cherry to know it was because he caught them to making out. Cherry goes on to explain that they broke up weeks ago because he wasn't giving her enough attention. His feelings towards the situation was mutual as to they have not been dating long. Riku sighs and expresses he isn't surprised about the outcome of their relationship. Cherry was taken aback and asked Riku, what did he mean by that? Riku goes on to explain that he's always goes around dating girls he doesn't truly like. Cherry, displeased with this observation, says, why is he looking at who's he dating? Riku immediately grew defensive and says that it's because he goes around flaunting his girlfriends, so it's hard not to notice. He goes on to say he only dates them because they're pretty. He also adds that he should be more private, whereas he fears turning corners at school, not wanting to bump into him making out with a girl. Cherry was beginning to get angry, telling him not to do that. Riku asks what does he mean, saying that what he said isn't wrong. Cherry expressed this is why he hated talking to Riku. He states that he wasn't asking for advice. Riku shouts that he wasn't giving him advice and in fact was telling him the truth, and if he doesn't want to hear his opinion, do not bring up relationships. Cherry was growing more angry. He goes to say he doesn't care and never have. He expresses that he doesn't want him concerning himself into his business. Riku claims he wasn't giving advice, it was just an observation. But Cherry wasn't having it. He blurts out that he shouldn't talk to him about breakups because he just got dumped. Riku sighs and says he didn't get dumped and that it was a mutual breakup. He states that since they were graduating soon, it was best to part ways. Cherry is surprised it ended peacefully. This annoys Riku, whereas it was obvious something like that would never happen to him. He shades that he's not like Cherry. That last statement infuriated Cherry, almost causing him to crash out. The waitress drops in with their food while awkwardly placing it down on their table. The awkward air made its way back as they ate their food in silence. Feeling a bit guilty, Riku apologizes to Cherry for how everything went down. He ensures that he will get along for the project and they never have to speak to each other again afterwards. Cherry says it's fine and that he shouldn't have instigated that kind of conversation. He adds on that he wasn't totally off and that it's best they don't concern themselves in each other's business. Riku agrees and silently thinks to himself that Cherry isn't so bad to be around when he isn't insufferable. Cherry compliments his pancakes, saying how good they are that he could moan. This causes Riku to burst out laughing at Cherry's attempt at trying to lighten the mood. Seeing Riku smile for the first time shocked Cherry and wondered if he only smiled like that whenever he wasn't around.